No shame in Bill King's game either. He is the king of college football talk, host on Nashville Sports Radio 6 to 9. Always good to give us some of his time on a Wednesday. Bill, always appreciate your time. How are you?
Hey, guys. Appreciate it.
We're bummed out, man. There's more postponements for SEC football than there are games to be played this weekend. And to be honest, like when we looked at the schedule at the start of the week, I thought Arkansas, Florida would be the best game, not by brand names necessarily, but now there's no doubt about it. Should we be nervous about the upcoming few weeks for SEC football based upon what's happened in the last couple of days?
Yeah, kind of interesting here in the SEC all at once. It's also interesting. About 2 weeks after Halloween, must have been a whole lot of good parties on these campuses. which guys, I'm going to say it again. If I happen to be a student, I would have been at those parties too. Don't want to be a hypocrite. I would have been there. I would not have listened to the so-called experts. But anyways, yeah, I mean, I assume we're going to play most of our games. One thing that they've done, apparently the ADs have met with the conference, and they're going to also allow December 19th, the day of the SEC title game, for teams to also have another date there to make games up if need be. So that's a good idea.
Right. That might not do much for the Alabama LSU game because Alabama theoretically should be playing in the SEC championship game, so they won't play LSU that day. And honestly, when you look at what could have happened, well, I mean, LSU should be thinking they're lucky stars that they might not have to play against Alabama because, to be honest, that could have ended up being one of the uglier games in LSU history. Don't you agree?
Yeah. I mean, LSU has imploded on every level. This football team, and there's talent there, but no, it would have been real ugly. And like I was just saying, we get down to the end, Alabama is going to be what? If they play all the other games, they'll be 9-0. They're not going to beat it. So that might not get played.
I know it's in a different league, but maybe everybody knew LSU would take a step back, didn't realize how bad things would be this year. What really shocks me, though, is to look at the Big Ten and to see Penn State and Michigan with a combined 1-5 record. And right now, I can't believe I'm saying this, the second best team in the Big Ten are the Indiana Hoosiers. I mean, that's like as 2020 as it gets, Bill.
Yeah. Indiana's a good-looking ball club, and Michael Penix, their quarterback, is a Tampa, Florida kid that the locals really didn't want. They wanted him to maybe be a DB or something. He was committed to Tennessee. Tennessee dropped him. Of course, you've seen Tennessee's situation at quarterback up close. Not good. Yeah. So, yeah, interesting.
What do you think about Arkansas versus Florida? I'm seeing Florida is an extremely efficient offense. They're much more than just Kyle Pitts. He might play, he might not play. I'm not really sure if it matters very much. But what could you say? Like, all right, put it this way. I don't know if this is a team you can blitz very well. They've only allowed 5 sacks all year. Trask gets rid of the ball better than almost anybody else. Barry Odom tried to dial up blitz after blitz against Texas A&M. It didn't work. I wonder if that might be the same situation if you try to blitz Florida on Saturday.
Yeah, look, first of all, I think from game one, Arkansas is the surprise team, so all the compliments there. But Florida offensively is playing so well. And, they really turned it down a notch the second half. I thought they may try and score 50 or 60 in that thing the way they were going. And I don't know if there's a better decision maker at quarterback than Trask. Does he have Trevor Lawrence's ability or Fields or no, but he's moving up now. The scouts are really liking him more and more and more. But he makes very few mistakes. They have a lot of other weapons. Probably the next best weapon is Kadarius Toney. There's an Alabama kid they've been waiting on a few years to explode. He's finally doing it. They're playing running back by committee. They're all about the same. They're all very good. And they have other playmakers developing too. So now they're still a liability on defense a bit, but they're playing a little bit better there.
Speaking to Bill King here with us on Halftime. Bill, what do you expect from Felipe Franks heading into this Saturday? I mean, he's been playing really well up to this point. He's really settled into his zone. He hasn't thrown any errant passes, and he's really just been a very consistent piece when Arkansas needed it most. What do you expect out of Felipe heading into this Saturday as he returns to Florida?
Yeah. You may think, okay, well, probably pretty emotional, but this kid's been around a long time. Now, he's played in a lot of arenas, a lot of different settings, 2 different teams. He's mature. I think he'll be well under control, and I think he'll play about the way he's been playing. He'll be solid in this ballgame. I don't think he'll do anything crazy to get them beat, and I think he'll have a solid ballgame. Got to remember, again, this Florida defense is not chock full of tons of Florida-level talent. It's kind of an average, at times, defense, maybe at best. So there are things that Arkansas should be able to get done against this Florida D.
You're talking about the Florida offense. Let's just bring this up. We've talked a lot this week about Kyle Pitts, and particularly kind of drawing the comparison for what Wiedemeyer did with Texas A&M when Arkansas faced him, and he just torched the middle part of that Arkansas defense just based off of his size and ability to go up and get the ball. And Kyle Pitts is a different type of baller in the college football realm. But with the injury for him, and possibly last we were told he's being questionable for this game, let's just assume that he's out for this ball game. Does that change your opinion on how this game could go? Does that give Arkansas a little bit more of an edge defensively trying to slow down this offense, or is it next man up for Florida?
No, I think it's next man up, but it might make the game somewhat closer. I don't think it's going to matter as far as who wins and loses. But he's such, as you mentioned, he is such a ridiculous matchup. He's 6'6". He can run away from you. In basketball terms, he's always going to get the rebound. You have no chance there. And if you're just tiny, he'll just stiff arm you. It doesn't matter. Any way you want to die, he can make it happen, right? So that's a loss there. But they really distributed the ball pretty well in that Georgia game to players that weren't necessarily big names. And I think Dan Mullen right now, that offense, Brian Johnson, et cetera, they got a hot hand right now. They really do. I don't think they slow down too much.
When you look at the scheduling, that's what's been happening across with postponements and different things like that. What do you have you heard anything, or what do you think they'll do with the Alabama LSU game? Because obviously that's one of the biggest marquee matchups that the SEC offers every year, and I don't see a reason why they would just not play the game. I think it's just too much. There's too much there, even though I think we all know the outcome of the game. Have you heard anything, or what do you think they're going to end up doing with that ball game since LSU already is playing in that extra week of play?
I don't know what you do, because you're right. Florida LSU plays the 12th, and that was the day that everybody had the one makeup opportunity. And I don't. And here's the other item: if you're Nick Saban, you don't need the game, and it gives you another week to freshen up there. I just don't have any answers as to what you would do without some serious schedule manipulation, and I don't know if that's doable.
I don't think it is. I think that they don't have enough weeks to pull it off. Even
right.
Adding in the December 19th doesn't do anything for Alabama LSU, and it's just LSU should just be thankful that they're not going to have to play against them. One last question here, Bill, and I feel like we probably broached this with you in the summertime, but now that it's coming to fruition, it's worth asking this question again. Is there another team in the country that you can point to that would have a better situation for an interim head coach if their head coach gets the virus, like what's happened with Sam Pittman? Barry Odom steps right in, and it almost to me feels a little bit like the next man up thing here, because these two guys have worked so well together this year. I wonder if they finish each other's sentences. You know what I mean?
Well, Sark was the interim for about a 2-3 day period until Nick started passing all those tests, right? So that was a pretty good one. No, you're right. It's a very smooth transition from head coach to head coach. And guys that are similar, I think, philosophically, obviously. And, that should not be any kind of item. And just, I'm sure you guys have talked about it, but again, the rules state 90 minutes before the game when the refs take jurisdiction, the head coach can't be involved anymore until the game's called. From a Zoom point of view or a texting or a carrier pigeon or a whatever it might be, it'll be smooth. Yeah, that's no worries at all, guys.
Or tomato cans. Hey, yep. You don't need to react to this, but I think you'll get a kick out of this as I'll let you go here. Greg Sankey is speaking to media members. I think they asked the exact same question about how you deal with this scheduling situation. And according to Sankey, quote, there are scheduling suggestions on Twitter. I don't run the league on Twitter, unquote. That's awesome.
Pretty good.
It is pretty. It's a fact, too. Bill, thanks for your time. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Bill.
Guys.
Oh, boy. That's so true. You know, I feel like SEC officiating Twitter feed ought to retweet that over and over and over and over again.
That's fantastic. I appreciate him being honest about that.
Should have some action tonight, SmackDown. Maybe Joe's Grilling Canteen, a good place to watch some Mid-American Conference football.
The MAC back in action, and they'll have it definitely on all the TVs at Joe's Grilling Cantina. Make sure you head out there, though. You can watch football there tonight. You can watch it there Thursday night, Friday nights. Anytime there's football, Joe's Grilling Cantina will have you covering. Matty T, it's half-price apps and taps today at Joe's Grilling Cantina after 5 o'clock p.m.
That's right. That means you could get the brisket nachos for under $5.
Are you going to bring that and punish me more with it?
I should.
The smell of it, you really should. You can find Joe's Grill Canteen at 3400 South 74th Street in Fort Smith, across from Harps. You can place your orders to go online at 479-478-9600. Change My Mind, coming up next.